Yeah. You gotta work. You gotta work, grind, shine, it's mine. Gotta show everybody it's my time. Getting here, you gotta work, grind, shine. Never mind who talking down, cause they lying. Don't talk, you gotta work.
Let the conversation begin. This is Let's Talk with your host, Carl Lee.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Carl Lee with Let's Talk, and we have what I think is going to be a great show today. We're going to capitalize on the draft and talk a little bit about it and speak to someone who has been through it and just kind of talk about the draft and the experience pretty much as a whole. So I have my co-host here, Hollis Lewis. He's in the studio today. And I have Marshall University, a former Marshall University player, and I want to say this because I'm not sure if he's made the greatest catches at Marshall that maybe I've seen. I that's just me being just my own opinion there, just for the sake of saying that. Second round, 59th pick for the New England Patriots, Aaron Dobson. He's our guy today. And Dad is here with us, Bobby Dobson, good friend of mine. And how are you guys doing today?
I'm good, man. Blessed. Glad you're having me on, man. Excited to talk about this stuff today.
Definitely glad to be here, Carl.
Okay, so Bobby, I'm going to start with you because
hold on, we got to start with your first draft experience.
Oh.
We got to start there because you actually went to the draft.
Okay,
unlike
so
what we talked about last week when you was at home by yourself waiting on the call.
Okay, so and we were talking about that kind of prior to the show. I would have never in my lifetime would I have thought about going to the draft. Like, it's something that you sit at home, sit back, spend 3-4 hours watching it and excited every time your team picks somebody. Mm-hmm. I would have never thought to go actually be there. So the Vikings had invited me to do one of their picks. It would have been a second or third pick. In the draft. So I got an opportunity to go, and there was 700,000 people at the draft. 700,000 people showed up at the draft.
Were they fitting? Was this in a stadium?
No, this is like in the street. Like,
okay.
And the first day, we got in on Wednesday. So on Thursday, there's some buddies, and the good thing about it is you're gonna find some players that that's in your area. So, Andre Rison was there, Darrell Green was there. So but me and my son, I took my son with me, Dominique, and we were walking the first day. We were walking down the street, man, and it was like it got to a point. We went maybe 3 blocks, and it got to a point where cars were not the dominant people on the road. Like, it ended up being people. Like, people just started walking, and people started parking cars. And man, we got maybe a block and a half away from the main area where everybody was standing. And I was like, nah, man, we can't. It was just too many people.
Yeah.
And then they didn't have a lot of streets blocked off, so they were blocking off streets for pedestrians. They were blocking off streets for cars. By the next day, everything was set up. But of course, we didn't have to worry about it because we were actually there. But when you look out, because I got a chance to go meet some Viking fans that, everybody's in their gear and they all kind of sit together. So I got an opportunity to walk down and talk to those guys. And I'm telling you, man, it is unbelievable to see that many people just in one
football
place.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's just football crazy. Yeah. It's like, and they're going crazy every time, their team is picked. They're going crazy. Like, it was just crazy to me. But my experience was I would go again now. You know, I mean, I would absolutely go again because it's and not even so much just simply to watch the draft, but be in the experience. And if nothing else, you ought to go. You got to go to one, you know, because like I said, back in my day, I'm sitting on the couch waiting on the call, you know, and now the reality of it is you can actually be there, you know, and see it. And I'm telling you, man, it's a great thing. So if you're listening, I guarantee you, it's worth a trip to go there.
It's a production now.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, they want to make everything the best they can make it, you know. And I really wasn't disappointed. Like some people were like, "Oh man, that's bad that you didn't get a chance to announce the pick." I was like, "No, it didn't really bother me." What were you going to say? I don't really have no idea. I would have said what was on the paper, and that would have been it.
Yeah,
you know. So that's my experience. So which leads me into the experience of your son knowing that you know he's getting drafted, or at least everybody's saying that he's getting drafted. What is that like leading up to it, and then sitting there and hearing his name being called, or get that phone call?
First of all, it's surreal. Just you think of it as a kid of you being in that seat, and then when you get to be a father, you start thinking about, you know, after he gets to Marshall, we kind of like, well, he might have a shot, and then after his junior year, you know, people saying, yeah, he really got a shot. So as the season went on, you just kind of, you know, hoping he don't get hurt.
Right.
All that kind of stuff. But the draft process, he went on different trips and I guess talked to different teams, but we had no idea who liked him, who didn't like him. We had no idea. We were pretty sure he wasn't going to get drafted in the first round because those guys pretty much know they're going in the first round. So we said, okay. I think you were at recovery. Yeah. Matter of fact, we went up to recovery on the first day of the draft and we're just talking around and stuff. So the second night we had some people's family over. You came over, you know, some people at the house, but we had no idea if it was going to be second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. We had no idea, but we were just enjoying it. Every time they on the phone all the time anyway. So anytime his phone, the whole room just stops. And he's like, no, this ain't it. So what the funny part is, we're all watching TV downstairs, had the lights off. He gets a call from I guess Coach Belichick. And the whole time we taking videos on cell phones, we never turned the light on in the house. It's dark downstairs, so we go back and look, and everything is just black. Everybody was just zoned out. We wasn't even thinking about it, and just waiting for it to go on. You know, he knew before the TV, of course. Right. But it was just like, man, this is something.
And to me, when you think of like Belichick, like. I mean that's a huge deal.
That was one of them things like, and I wasn't a big Patriot fan, so but still you got to give them their due. They were that franchise that did it. Yeah, with Brady being there, Coach Belichick, and we're like, man, you're gonna be catching balls from the GOAT, and you know it was definitely a experience for me. I can't imagine what he thought.
So what was your experience like, Aaron? Just like going through that process leading up to training, to work, and now you on that day and you about to get this call. What was that for you?
Yeah, I mean the whole experience was just kind of like my dad said. It was surreal. I mean, just obviously going through my college career. Obviously, I got better pretty much every year. You know what I mean? So I think it was kind of probably midway through my junior year where it really started clicking for me as far as me having a shot to go do it. You know what I mean?
And I want to jump in real quick just to ask this. I have to assume that that's what you wanted, though. Like, you know, your whole goal in playing football, your whole life in football was trying to get there.
1,000%.
Okay.
1,000%. Right. Like, that was... I mean, from the time I stepped onto the field at 4 years old, before I can even play when my brother was out there playing, that was the goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, and obviously y'all know I hoop too. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it was either an NBA player or NFL player. You know what I mean? It was probably not specific back then which one it was going to be, but it was one of the two.
Because you had a decision coming out of high school because it was like you could have played basketball or football.
Yeah. So
what led to football? What it was just the love, or
you know what's crazy for real? For when I think about it, I try to think about it now like I was making a business decision, which maybe so subconsciously, but really Marshall was the biggest offer I had in either sport. You know what I mean? Football or basketball. So I think it was more on the lines of when I really dig down to the root of it, it was my biggest offer. I felt like I could play at the highest level. I feel like I went to a lot of camps my senior year in high school and showed that I could play with whoever. And
Tell them when you got the offer though.
Oh yeah, nah. So I didn't get the Marshall offer until after we won the state championship my senior year. So still coming out of my senior year of football, it's super late. Yeah. So I didn't get that offer till middle of December.
So did you have the chip on your shoulder because of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I felt I was the best hooper in the state at the time. I mean, I got that app later, but I got.
And you got the award. For the best basketball player in the state.
Yeah, absolutely.
And y'all was 14-0 that year in football.
You know what I mean? And runner up in football. You know what I mean? So, I had a huge chip on my shoulder. Yeah, absolutely. Because I felt like I could play it wherever. You know what I mean? But I feel like I was super under recruited. So yeah, I mean, going into college, I had an extremely huge chip on my shoulder. And
see, I think those moments and like that's good if you can channel it the right way.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people get them chips and they go left instead of channeling the energy.
It's crazy because I know this is kind of going off topic, but I tell kids now that I'm in coaching and I'm recruiting now, and you get to talking to some kids that's recruitment. How's your recruitment going? It's slow right now, and I'm like, well, you got 10 offers. Like, what you mean it's slow? You know what I'm saying? It's slow. I'm like, and you're not even a senior yet. You're going into your senior year. You know what I mean? So I'm like, just telling them boys, man, just if you feel like it's slow and you don't got the recruitment that you want, just use it as fuel. Like, don't use it to let it throw you off your pivot and you comparing your recruitment to anybody else's or whatever. That ain't the way to go. Just channel it into motivation and fuel. And let that take you to where you want to be at. Because at the end of the day, wherever you are, if you that, you're gonna be that.
I like that.
But isn't it hard now at coaching, especially at the college level, especially at say like a school like Marshall, who now are gonna get guys going to the pros.
And they had a couple.
Yeah, they had a couple. What was 3?
Yeah, two to get drafted.
And you've got those guys. Can you explain to them what's coming? Is it even? I mean, can they hear you, or are they?
You know what? I talk about the league a lot on my guys, and it's crazy. I tell myself that I'm gonna stop because now that I'm into coaching, everybody say they want that. Like everybody say they want to get to that point, but you got a lot of talkers. And not really a lot of walkers, you know what I mean? And I understood that quick when I first got back into coaching. It was like, all right, everybody say they want it, but you'll see the guys that's picking up the game that you giving them and putting it into like action. You know what I mean? But that ain't everybody not gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? So I want everybody to get it, right? So I'm giving everybody the game, but you see, it's like it's only a certain few of them that it really clicked to. You know what I mean? So it might click to the guy that don't even got all the physical attributes that you want in a player. It's gonna be it might be one of them that get it, but you already so far behind the 8 ball. You probably, you know what I mean. And then you might have guys that have the ability to do it that get it right, but then there's a whole bunch of in between where it's like, bro, you got everything that you need to do it. It's just mentally you ain't tapped into it. You know what I mean? So it's tough. It is tough. It's tough because I feel like you giving the game for them to understand it and really dumb it down to them so they can get it. But that's why it's only the 1% that get there.
So let me ask you, like going back to your high school and having this in your mind, like I want to get drafted, I want to play professional sports, whether it's basketball, football. What was your training? What was the work ethic? What was that like growing up?
I think a big part of me was I was always crazy competitive, like
That's what we talk about a lot.
The ultimate competitor. Like I hated to lose. Like was a sore loser. Hated to lose in anything. Like
Look at Dad laughing
because they know, right? You know what I mean?
He probably saw all of that.
I think back to when I was like really younger. You know what I'm saying? I used to obviously I got an older brother. You know what I'm saying? I got an older cousin. You know what I'm saying? Obviously my mom plays sport. My dad plays sports. So coming up, when I'm always playing against, like we out there playing, we got a hoop in my driveway. We out there playing against them. Where I'm young. And yeah, they're not letting me win. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're not showing no mercy to anybody. So like, I was like I couldn't beat my brother for the longest. Couldn't beat my mom. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't beat I'm like, so it was just, and they never took it easy on me. So I think that's where I got my competitive spirit from. And then really like credit to my dad sitting right here because obviously he pushed me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like I gave pushback sometime, but he pushed me to have the work ethic really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He really pushed me to. And I kind of see him do it, like as far as him working like 12 hours and then being around for me and taking me to go practice, coaching me and doing, you know what I'm saying? So I kind of seen the grind from him. So it was like, all right, let me just try to follow suit in this avenue in my lane, which is football at the time, basketball at the time, you know what I mean? So I think it was just that, man. Obviously, like getting game from Carl Lee back in the day too. Like I used to do some of his running workouts and stuff back in high school. Yeah, you know what I mean. So, some of the things that he used to do, like training in the league and stuff, like I was doing or attempting to do it back in high school, right? And I used to have some days some of my friends come out there with me and do it, but most days it was me.
Yeah.
Me out there really just running. You know what I'm saying? And really, so I tell guys all the time too, man. It's a lonely route to get to the NFL.
I was about to say that. That was my next comment.
Lonely.
It's a lonely road to if you want to get success, whether it's athletics, professional, whatever, it is a lonely road, and that's what you got to be prepared for.
It is, yeah. You got to. I mean, you're gonna be the only one in there. Like, you know what I mean? Of course, like I said, my dad was there, so like that helped a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but yeah, a lot of times this is gonna be you versus you in there. You know what I mean? Competing versus yourself.
Especially in this area.
Yeah,
it's getting better now.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I want to ask you because like. I know how my dad was. Like I knew he didn't have to motivate me to go train, but I also knew that if I didn't go, what are you doing? Right. You know, like
so that was a little motivation.
Like I know, like because I got to be out running, and I'm back, and by that time he's sitting at the kitchen table eating breakfast, getting ready to go to work. He knows if I ain't up and out and back. Something wrong, and so he was hard. He was a strong motivator to me to make sure that I continue to put that work.
Right.
He wasn't. I don't want to say he was hard on me, but I knew what he was expecting. Tell me. First of all, you tell me what do you think? What pressure do you think you put on him? And then I'm curious about where he thinks he felt it from, or how he felt about it.
Some of the pressure was probably unjust. I would be honest. If I had to go back again, I would probably. It's hard to say that because he got to where he got to, but then to rethink it, I think I would be a little bit more balanced. We gave him the opportunity. Okay, if you want to play sports, we're gonna be good at sports. Okay. You got practice, your homework, those two things. Don't worry about the grass, I got that. Don't worry about this, I got that, because I know we get ready to go do. So I don't want that excuse, you know. Yeah. But if I had to do it over again, I would probably be a little bit more balanced. So when he's finished that, he still has those, what I want to say, those values or whatever, that these things still need to get done.
Yeah.
You know, in also doing this too.
Right.
Right. Just because I went to work, the grass won't get cut just because I worked 12 hours that day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But with him, I kind of, I'll shelter you from this, but we're going to get this work in. But
can you be balanced though? That's what I'm about to say.
I don't know
if you can.
I don't know if you. Yeah. I don't think I could. If I were to go back and said, okay, I want to change my dad. I don't think I would. I
don't think you can.
I think, and my dad was the dad who he ain't say nothing about the interception. Right? He ain't saying nothing about how many tackles I got. He ain't saying anything about the awards. He want to know about that particular play I missed the tackle on. Yeah. And I'm like, but Dad, I'm doing this. He ain't interested in that because he knows I'm thinking Sunday. So his idea is you don't have any room to miss a tackle. You don't have any room not to work out. And if I were to go back and I were to look at could I have done it without that kind of oversight? I think I have to have that oversight. Even though I was committed to working out, I didn't need anybody to help me working out. I would do it. So I'm curious if
you might have
you would even would you want it any different, or could you even have handled it even a little bit tougher?
I think it worked. It was exactly what I needed. You know what I mean? Like, I always love the game and love to play, but I think just getting that extra push or having that extra sense of motivation to go do extra. Obviously, I think it worked. It paid off. You know what I mean? So like I think about it, like me and my dad had the coach-player relationship for the longest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because he coached me and everything. He coached me harder probably than anybody ever coached. You know what I'm saying? Like it was that. So it just instilled that in me early to just be a hard worker and just always be a competitor. And to me, I think that was the biggest edge I always had in sports was I hated to lose and I always wanted to compete, and it didn't matter what it was. You know what I mean? I was ready to compete at all times. So I think that for me,
anything
it didn't matter. We had a spitting contest, who can spit the furthest. I'm with it. You know what I mean? So I think when it came down to just the competition level, all the time, every day that you out there, every rep, I was with that.
That's
where some guys, they fold when it's back to back. Even if I lost, it's all right, cool. That didn't phase me to the point where some guys lose and they tank out, they fold. You know what I mean? Where I'm right back on it. All right, I know I'm gonna lose, right? You good too, but
I'm gonna win this next.
Yeah, no, I'm with it. I'm right back at it. It ain't about to stop. So I think, to me, when I think back on it, that was probably the best quality I had was just. I was just an ultra competitor.
So you get the call, kind of going back to the draft, you get the call, you go into New England, everybody's excited. What's your next step? What's the next thing that happened after that?
So yeah, I got drafted that, what was it, Friday, I guess? Friday, right? Yeah, so I got drafted that Friday. I went to the spring game the next day. We got our spring game down at Marshall the next day, so I went there the next day, and then I think that the very next weekend I was gone. So it was 4 days later I was gone for rookie minicamp. So I mean it happened.
And how was that? How was rookie minicamp? How
was crazy? I had a tough rookie minicamp, man. I had a super tough rookie minicamp because I told y'all, right, coming 2.5 weeks before the combine, tore my hamstring, right? So we had pro day at the end of March, right? So the spring game, so end of April. End of April. So really my pro day was almost my first full workout back off my hamstring. It was crazy that I even got back, right? So when I went into rookie minicamp, I wasn't in the best of shape. You know what I mean? I wasn't in football shape. I was in testing shape, low key. You know what I mean? As far as testing for my 40, I was in that type of shape, but I wasn't in endurance shape. Yeah. So I had a tough rookie minicamp, super tough. And then going up to New England, it was, I didn't know this at the time, right? Because this is all I know is New England. This is the league to me, right? But from what everybody else is saying is yo, New England kind of run their ship different. The way they practice is different. The way they just do everything is different, right? So we out there, obviously we two spotting. We got two different fields going, and obviously it's rookie minicamp. It's all rookies, right? So I had a tough camp because I wasn't in the shape that I needed to be in. So I feel I struggled for real during rookie minicamp. It was a lot, you know what I mean? It was, I think I had a tough rookie minicamp.
Was it just a physical, or was the mental kind of catching on to their system and everything that?
Mentally I always been cool, but when you physically not right and ready, you can't even think about nothing. The mental part can't even. It's not even a determining factor because I was out there I couldn't think.
Yeah, because you so
yeah, you know what I'm saying. So
you just trying to survive.
I'm trying to survive. Yeah. So it was a tough rookie minicamp. It was tough. It made me super nervous going into OTAs. I'm all right, bro. I'm a little far behind from where I need to be if this is what I'm walking into. So it was a little nerve-wracking for me.
And because you were drafted in the second round.
Can you hold that?
Yeah,
Can you hold that? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Follow us on Facebook at Let's Talk Carl Lee. Visit WCHSnetwork.com/Let's Talk for more.
Sponsorship opportunities are available. Contact Carl Lee at letstalk@promessage.com, Dale Cooper at dcooper@wvradio.com, or call 304-342-8131. Ask Carl a question or comment on current or previous episodes. Visit Let's Talk Carl Lee on Facebook. Like, rate, and subscribe from your podcast service to help more people find Let's Talk with Carl Lee. Now, back to the conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and again, we have Aaron Dobson, Bobby Dobson, and the co-host. And the co-host is he's got a lot of questions, and I'm excited about it. Yeah, don't be sorry. No, don't be sorry, because
I think we don't really get to dive deep into like somebody's draft and that sort of process and experience.
Exactly.
And I think for kids who are somebody's listening who's interested, you done dropped about 10 gems on them already. So what I was going to ask is that you were drafted in the second round. You were the 59th overall pick, which is amazing. But is that guaranteed that you make the team, or is it are you still fighting for roster position at that point? Going into OTAs,
I would say now that I know what I know, I was safe. You know what I'm saying? I was safe being a second round pick. I was probably safe in New England. It could have been over with, right? But pretty much, I feel like if you probably day one, day two, or not, if you first, second round, you probably safe more times than not. Yeah. But pretty much anything after that, you know what I mean? You can probably throw third round in there too. You're probably safe. But 4 through 7, I mean, and
I was a 7.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
So trust me, I wasn't comfortable.
Yeah,
Ain't nobody make me comfortable.
Yeah, so it was 4 through 7. Like it's tough sledding.
But because of that rookie camp experience, you walked in like you was a 4 through 7 trying to.
Oh yeah, no, I never looked at it like I still was walking in with a chip on my shoulder. No doubt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I was upset that I went 59th.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like not that I was upset, but it was because 6 receivers went ahead of me. Tavon Austin, which I understood, right? Tavon Austin was Tavon Austin. We had D-Hop. You had Cordell Patterson. You had Robert Woods and Justin Hunter went before me. So I was like, I trained with D-Hop. I trained with Justin Hunter. And seeing Cordell Patterson up close. So obviously I'm stacking myself up against them. You know what I mean? Like the whole time we working out, like training at IMG. And I ain't really see what they had on me. You know what I mean? To be honest, like Justin, like, and them my dogs. Don't get it twisted. Like I still talk to Justin Hunter and D-Hop to this day. But what I would say D-Hop probably had on me was his hands. D-Hop, I mean, he had gorilla hands, wore size like 3X, 4X gloves, crazy. Yeah, crazy hands. So, like, that's what I feel like D-Hop probably had on me, if anything. And then Jay Hunt was crazy athletic, you know what I'm saying, slender build, basketball, used to play hoop, you know what I mean, had a basketball background, but super athletic. But when I'm stacking myself up against him, I ain't see it. Like, I ain't see, like, all right, I feel like I'm better than them. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm better. That's how I felt. You know what I mean?
Did the receiver size start to change in that in your particular window as far as bigger? Because Rice and those guys, they weren't much bigger than me,
right?
And you got 3 feet over top of me. So was that a new thing coming in, that bigger DB, that bigger corner? I mean, because to me, I would have seen you as a safety all day long.
Yeah.
Back in my day, you'd have been a safety at best.
I think, man, as time is going, I think God, like now, I think the game is a little bit more athletic than when I was playing. Like I think we getting more athletic as time goes. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think
I don't know what's better.
Yeah.
I don't know better,
but athletically, I think it's different. You know what I mean? I think it is different now athletically. Yeah, I don't think it's skill set wise, maybe they wasn't as savvy as us mentally. Yeah. But athletically, I think they some freaks now. So I think it just kind of start changing. Like, and I think some guys are like, just like I was a hooper, right? I was a hooper. You know what I mean? And I think guys are starting to get a little bit more hip to, all right, everybody ain't gonna be a 6'4", hooper, a guard. You know what I'm saying?
it's
6'3",
tough
you're
out
gonna have to be the
there.
one. You know what I mean? So I think, like I said, like Justin Hunter in my draft, he was 6'3", 6'4", play hoop, could move like a little guy. He had good feet. And I think that translates. Like, but I don't know, man. I think it might have been getting new. We're just seeing bigger receivers that can move, and because I think for me, like I was 6'3", 6'4", but I could play big or small. Like I can get in the slot and be twitchy and do those type of routes, but I could also play big and go stretch the field and play 6'4". So I think that was like, obviously I think whenever you find a receiver that can do that at that size, it's a no-brainer. Like you gotta.
And I think and Bobby, you probably had watched it even before when he was young, talking about it. You could almost predict the guy that's going to be in the slot. He's going to be a little quick guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was really, you were dictated. You were said. I mean, it was said that he's that position because he looks like that.
Right.
I think that now with the skill sets of the athletes, that day is gone. Like you can't look at a guy now and say, "Oh, he's got to be
1000%."
No, because he can do. His athleticism is a whole nother thing.
Plus, in the game, particularly in your area, was a lot more physical. I don't know if it's as physical. You can't.
It's
do
a lot
all
more finesse now.
Yeah, you can't do the things that you used to do when y'all, particularly receivers coming across the middle. So those bigger guys, they don't have to carry so much weight. They can slim down. They can afford to be a little bit quicker, like you said, twitchier and different things of that nature.
And my problem with that is
that's coming from a DB too.
Yeah,
so
my problem with that is like, you know, you got to have the safety, right? There's definitely some, safety's an issue. But you can't let a receiver just come down. You can't let him come in the middle and
not be untouched.
You ain't gonna touch him, right?
Yeah.
And what they're doing now is touching him.
Right.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to come out your back.
Yeah,
I'm trying to go straight through your chest, come out your back, and like look at you. Are you okay? You gonna get up?
Right.
I mean, that part of the game to me is gone.
It's gone. Yeah, it's gone.
And
it's tough to watch sometimes.
And for me, it is hard. It's hard to watch. Has it in your view of it and your view, Dad? Has it changed to a point that you can't? And I know you coach it, so you got to watch it
from a coaching standpoint.
But you can't get on there and turn the television on to an NFL game and watch it and say, I'm liking it. And Dad, I'm curious about what you think. Do you like it? Is it important for you to catch a game now?
I mean, it's definitely different for me now. It's definitely different because even when I first came in 2013, we still had Ryan Clark back there, Cam Chancellor, we had Troy Polamalu, we had guys out there that were still hitting. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So to me, the game has changed a lot. I don't really like where it's going. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like we know what we signing up for. I get that we got to keep the game safer. I do get that, but we know what we out there doing, man. We know what we signed up for. So I don't necessarily agree with it or like it, but so it is tough to watch at times because I'm like, man, this was back years ago. This would have been nasty. You know what I mean? But I guess it's the game now. This is what it is going forward. Yeah.
Well, you can't on the defensive side, like Carl said, if you can't take away something for the offensive guy, how you gonna guard him? Right. Like I knew if he got an inside release to me, my safety gonna take care of that.
Yeah,
he gonna take care of that. So he gonna be looking. But now, you said, them guys,
he don't got to look.
It'd be rough. It'd be rough trying to guard something.
Yeah, you reaching for that pass now that you wasn't thinking about reaching before.
You wasn't thinking about getting that there.
And as a quarterback, I definitely appreciate all the new rules. But
and you would say that too.
but I was, even from a quarterback standpoint, it's difficult just to watch because, not to say like back in our day or this ain't the football I grew up in, but this ain't football. If you see what I'm saying? Yeah. This isn't the game. The game is dictated on, there's a healthy level of fear when you on that field because, like you said, you can't do certain things. If I lead that receiver in the middle too much and he get his clock clean, I got to hear that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So as a quarterback, I got to be tight. We got to run our routes tight. Everything's got to be a little bit more tight.
But we all know as fans, and I didn't play at the highest level, but we all know as fans when somebody makes a good play. And we
Yeah.
know the dirty plays too.
Yeah.
That's what
facts,
gets me.
that's
Some of
facts.
them, you like, that's just a clean, good football hit.
That's an old school clean
And
hit.
they throw the flag
Yes,
and they
yeah.
and they
Yeah.
throwing the guy out the game. And we know that's what are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
What are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
It's just an offensive game now. This is what it is. It's
That's a fact.
It's to make money. To obviously keep the fans engaged, to score points, and just like the NBA now.
NBA.
I don't
Yeah,
remember.
I can't
I don't
do this.
remember
Yeah.
the exact number, but literally the first part of the draft were all offensive
guys.
players.
Yeah, it's
all
crazy.
offensive.
And
Never
I
seen
mean,
that
like,
before.
It was one defensive guy.
Yeah,
that
it was like
kid-
the first 13 picks or something like that.
Yeah,
Was all offense. It's crazy.
That can't
Like
make
four
sense.
quarterbacks.
Yeah, it
4 or 5
doesn't make
quarterbacks.
sense. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Because
Yeah.
and to try to make it make sense to you, if you don't understand how that shouldn't happen, somebody in that, let's just say it was 12, okay? So somebody in those 12 picks needs a DB.
Absolutely.
Somebody needs a DN.
Yeah.
Somebody needs a linebacker.
A linebacker.
I mean, you can't tell me that you
No,
don't.
100%.
But you
and who are the best players available?
Yeah.
As opposed to I'm picking a quarterback when I'm the Falcons.
Because I'm going to make the case now.
Yeah.
You know, where you go in the draft now isn't necessarily skill set as much as it is the needs. So
So
like,
hold on, I don't think it's needs. I don't know if it's always need because like we look at the Falcons pick. Was that I don't know if they needed that Ryan Penix. I don't know if they needed that quarterback. Did they need him? I mean, they just paid a quarterback $100 million.
I think they're thinking there. I wasn't really mad at Atlanta for doing that because I think they're trying to secure somebody for the future. Like I know they just signed Kirk to that $100 million deal, or whatever.
Yeah.
But Kirk ain't gonna play the 4. Kirk will probably play 2. Let Michael Penix learn from him and da 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 da. And then
I think I'm not sure he'll make 1.
see,
You're not sure
that's
he'll
what I'm
make
saying.
one?
I'm not sure he's gonna make. I'm not sure he's gonna make the first one. But that saves him from a rookie starting
Right
2,
away.
3, 4,
Exactly.
5
Yep.
games
Yep.
in.
Let him get on. Yep.
Because again, you got an Achilles, and come on, I
Right.
get his stats, but he ain't a winner.
Right.
To me, like I just don't see him as a winner. So
Absolutely.
he ain't gonna. What he can do is he can nurture
Right.
a backup quarterback into that role.
Right. That's what I think.
But I don't.
But that's a lot of money to spend on the
it is.
same position. And then what happens is, will you be able to afford other positions around that?
The
Michael
question.
Penix?
The question is, do you need those other positions?
Yeah,
See,
you
that's
definitely do. You need that left tackle. You need that tight end now. You need that receiver.
You might
need
be
that.
willing to. You might be close enough. And again, I think this is an interesting dive into the draft. These coaches, all these people that are part of this draft team, they know they're gonna gamble on. Okay, we only gonna have these 2 guys at the DN. We know we could use another one. We know there's a great one in, but we got to get somebody at the QB spot. The QB spot at the end of the day
is a must.
But it's a must.
But it's such a gamble because a lot of they broke down the stats and I wish I had it with me. But a lot of these first round, even second round QBs, they just do not work. I think it's like at a 30% clip. So it's to the point. It's like, am I just going to go fishing for the QB or am I going to try to structure and build a team?
I know this is probably way off the subject, but is every organization really in it to win a championship?
And that
Are they all?
I don't know if I can say that.
Are they all?
I'd like to think so.
Yeah, as a fan, I want to think so.
As a former player, I like to think so.
Yeah.
But
You look at some of the picks and stuff. It's more about revenue. It's more about
I know
TV market share of TV.
Yeah.
It's more about what I'm saying.
I know Mike Lynn, who was our general manager, who I've said his name 1,000 times on the show. He's passed away. He wasn't trying to. He wasn't worried about how much. Like the money he was trying to pay you was the minimum. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't like it, he'd tell you go drive a bus.
Yeah.
Come on, what are you talking about? Go drive a bus. I mean, you a grown man and you sitting across from somebody you negotiating with, and he telling you like, well, if you don't like it, go drive a bus. Right. And like how do you look at him?
Yeah, he ain't trying to win. I mean,
No,
he trying to get
so he's saving money. He's saving money for the program. For him, And because at that time you ain't have no free agency, you couldn't go nowhere. So so basically all you could do was go drive a bus.
And speaking of that, Aaron, when again, so you go through rookie camp, you go through OTAs, you obviously make the team. Now you all those years of work. Now we ain't getting in your pocket. I don't want to get in your pocket. We ain't gotta go there. But all those years of work, now you seeing them checks come in. How was mentally? How was that? How did you deal with that?
You know what's crazy? Like, at first, like, so I never obviously. When I first started playing, obviously the goal was to get to the league and to the NBA or whatever, right? But it ain't like the money never like fueled me like that. That's never was like the motivation of it. You know what I'm saying? It was really because like I just I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed playing. Like I said, I was a crazy competitor. So I remember when I was first getting in the league, man, I wasn't even really. Yeah, when I seen the bread, it was definitely a crazy feeling, man. But it was like.
But it's not until after you see it.
Yeah, until after I seen it. You know what I'm saying? Once I seen, like, because I remember at first I was getting the direct deposited, right? So I wasn't really checking the checks like that. You know what I mean? And then I remember when I first checked the checks and I seen taxes for the first time, I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, you know what I'm saying? What is this? And who is this? And who is this? You know what I'm saying? Where's my money going? Like, so it was crazy, man. Like, it was crazy just after a little while looking into the account and seeing, like, all right, I'm getting 50, 60,000 every 2 weeks, you know what I'm saying, every week and a half. So it was different, man. Like this, I mean, like nobody in my family seen anything like that. So it was different. Yeah. It was different. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, man, but that's that's the rewards of it all, and that's just I always find that interesting. Again, not to get in your pocket, but just to you seeing that money come in. But you're also remembering all 4 years old getting swatted by dad and all the work that went into to get to that point.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, I definitely just kept my head down, man, and just wasn't really like I listen to Kobe still when he talk past interviews, and he was just talking about I was just working without like any results attached. You know what I'm saying? So like just really just keep grinding. You know what I'm saying? Don't really worry about the result to it. You know what I mean? Like the result it's gonna happen organically, but you just gotta get in the trenches really and just keep working. You know what I mean?
When was the first moment that you said you looked at everybody and you said, okay, I can do this?
It was when it really it was crazy. It was my rookie year, and I had a really, really solid camp. Like after I settled down to OTAs and kind of got my feet wet and kind of, you know what I mean, learned the offense a little more.
Training camp helps you a little bit.
Right. Yeah. So then once I started getting into training camp, like it slowed down to me so much from OTAs to training camp. Like just the game of it, right? And I always been just like when it came to learning the playbook, like that was never a problem for me or anything, right? So even going into New England's playbook, it was definitely probably the toughest offense I've learned, but obviously I picked it up, you know what I mean? And obviously the game started slowing down. So it probably wasn't until though midway through my rookie year, probably right before I broke my foot, it was the Steelers game.
Right.
So I came over the week before or 2 weeks before, I think I scored versus Miami, had a solid game there. We played the Saints, I had another decent game. And I'm saying decent games like 5 for 70, like 4 for 65, right? So 4 for 60 and a touchdown, right? And then I hit the Steelers and 5 for 130, 2 touchdowns. You know what I mean? I kind of just boom exploded onto the scene or whatever. And I just remember after that game, I was like, oh yeah, like it's that time. You know what I mean? Because I was feeling super confident. The game was getting slow, and then 2 games later, I was out for my foot. So it was kind of tough, but it was around that point in my rookie year where it started getting extremely slow. I started getting a crazy amount of confidence, and I was like, okay, like I can do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm supposed to be here.
It's interesting because I think the relevance of your statement there, I think kids may miss it. When you start talking about knowing, like learning the playbook, learning that piece, when that's not an issue, now the rest of it is all the physical pieces.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're either ready for the physical pieces or you're not.
Right.
I mean, so it's not like, you either going to be able to get out there with these dudes and play football at this level or you can't. And it'll be clear.
It's cut and dry.
Where it happens at is that dude who is unsure about what the coverage is,
right.
unsure about the route.
Right.
Now he's slower,
right,
and he ain't comfortable yet of what he's doing,
right.
Because he don't have
the mental piece.
That's a dime right there. That's a jewel right there.
Because I'm telling you,
that's a jewel right there.
It is.
So I don't know.
So you saying you can have all the physical skills.
Oh, yeah.
You can't
but
do
if
you ain't understanding,
you can't do nothing. You can
your
be
playbook.
stuck
If you
in
don't
mud.
understand the game mentally, that's going to slow you
Stuck in
down.
mud.
You can play
stuck in the mud.
Yes,
I like that.
Yes.
Wow.
You can do
That's a
that
jewel.
on a low level
Right.
Because you can catch up.
because you can catch up. You may ultimately learn
Right.
it. But I can for sure. I'm not even sure if you can do it now, even in college. But
It's tough.
but on Sunday,
Oh yeah, nah.
right? You ain't gonna make the team because they gonna know that you don't know.
Yeah.
And like I don't even remember like even sweating the playbook. And now the playbooks is, but they not your regular. They double, triple.
They
They double, triple
Right.
your high school or college playbook.
It changes week to week.
Right.
Yeah, and change weekly.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when somebody's all of a sudden telling you, okay, this week we're gonna do this,
Right.
then the next week we're gonna do
this
that.
instead of that, right.
Yeah, and so you got to be able to get that
process it,
and
yeah.
process it
Yeah.
and say, okay, I can make that move.
Nah, that's what I mean. Now, that's how I tell my guys all the time. My receivers now is like, I tell them boys, obviously learn every receiver position, right? So some of these guys still just want to learn their position, right? So we got X, Z, Y, and A. Those are our receiver positions, right? But so you got some slot guys, you got some guys that's just playing outside, right? But they only want to learn it by their position. And I'm like, how can you see the game from the bigger picture if you don't know what everybody else doing? You know what I mean? So it's like, and just like Carl said, like the more you know, obviously it comes down to understanding the schematics. It comes down to really understanding the X's and O's and what you're trying to do. Like if you understand that, then it's going to make you more successful because you know, as far as a receiver, you know exactly where to be, when to be there, how to get there the most efficient, knowing if, I'm the first read of the progression or no, I'm the last read of the progression. If I'm the first read, I need to win right now because I don't got time to play. I'm the last read of the progression. I might be able to put a little bit of sauce on my route because he not getting to me till last. So I ask my guys all the time, like, when's the best time to be open as a receiver? And they all give me answers. I'm like, when the quarterback is ready to throw you the ball. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's gonna be different by play, whether you are. But for you to understand it, you got to know the whole play. You got to know what every receiver position is doing. You got to know, where's the quarterback starting first? You know what I'm saying? By this coverage. But if you can't think like that, you're going to be out there still worrying about right before you say, Hut, what route do I got? Okay, boom, I'm just now getting what route I have. He about to say, Hut, I don't know what the coverage is doing. I don't know where my safeties are. I don't know who's spinning, who not, who blitzing, am I hot? Like, you got a whole bunch of stuff going through your mind.
That's a lot of stuff that you just have to... Like you just have to know.
It's got to be second nature.
And you're thinking about this in seconds. You know?
And to the flip side of that, to the flip side of that, okay, so offense comes out, I'm the corner, they call a cover 3. Who's got the curl route? Right. Who's gonna help me on the curl route? I need to know something. Exactly. I need to know who that person is, who's gonna be underneath the out.
Exactly.
I know I got the deep ball by myself. Who's gonna help me on the post? Like what I gotta know where everybody's at.
Yeah.
And you can't like wait till the team lines up.
It's too late.
And look at it and say, okay, let me look and see who's got me. You know,
you gotta know.
You gotta know.
Yeah.
So getting back to your career, like obviously your career, and you correct me if I'm wrong. Your career is probably cut short because of injuries. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean,
so how was that? Because I mean, obviously, I watched you play. It was like you playing with Brady, and you out there shining, you doing your thing. And it just kind of went up and down because of the injuries.
Yeah, no, it was tough. It was tough, man. Like I was kind of just going through my rookie year for y'all a little bit. Like I feel like I was about to really explode onto the scene, man. And then bro ended up breaking my foot week 10, week 11 of my rookie year, and it kind of just threw me. Obviously for the rest of the year, I mean, that's a whole nother story within itself.
Yeah.
But anyway, I didn't end up having surgery until after the season, basically. So I was kind of still out there hobbling on the foot the last 6 games of the season.
Oh, so you were playing on a broken foot?
Yeah, I was playing.
That's that football mentality.
Yeah.
Like you can't. Because here's the thing.
Was that with that shot though?
yeah. You got to get that shot. Yeah, you got to get that. You got to get that shot. Before the practice, before the game. That's just the reality.
You can talk about it.
I'm talking about it for me. Okay,
for you.
And I'm out there trying to play bump and run, and I got 2 pins in my wrist. Yeah. That the hand that I got to use. Bro, I can't feel no pain. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way I'm gonna jam you. Right. And if I ain't got something going on to keep me from being like,
1,000%.
You don't have. And again, I got my starting job because a dude decided he didn't want to take the shot in his ankle, so he decides he ain't gonna, he just ain't gonna play the game. And it's against Detroit. I get the game-winning interception, bro. The rest is history. Because it's that game.
It's that thin of a margin.
That thin of a margin that all of a sudden you in or you out.
Right.
And it's hard not to go out there and play. So I'm like thinking, as soon as they put that cast on, I had a full cast during the week, half cast for the game. Because, bro, I'm not sitting down.
Right.
Because I know somebody behind me.
Right. 1,000%. Like, so, and we don't got to get too far into this.
Let's not get too far into that.
What happened was, like, really, so they didn't necessarily tell me my foot was broken. They told me I had a midfoot sprain.
Oh,
right.
okay.
So I was getting X-rays. They were showing that I had a midfoot sprain, and
the boot all week, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was in a boot and all that for 3 months. Right. But they necessarily didn't tell me my foot was broken. They didn't get me a CT scan until we played in the AFC Championship game. We lost, obviously. You know what I'm saying? And they take me the next day. They take me down to Boston to see a foot doctor. They tell me it was broke. Right? And the doctor was like, well, I can tell it's been broken for a while because you can tell it's trying to start healing on its own. So that was just the first injury. And then it was just like little nagging stuff here and there, bro. So it was like after that, then the next year I had a hamstring towards the end of the season.
How long were you on the hamstring? How long were you out?
So that was probably week 12 when I hit the hamstring that year, and I was on IR the rest of the year, so I was out. I was done.
Yeah, because people don't
Now them hamstrings tough.
Yeah,
man.
the hamstring, because I had one too, man, and I missed practically all the camp.
Yeah, it's tough.
And people, they talk about the hamstring, and you come back, you ain't torn your hamstring.
Nah.
you done strained it or something. But if you tear it, bro, you ain't getting back in a week.
Nah, absolutely not. Because you don't have no explosion. You have nothing. Like, you don't have nothing. So it was tough. But to answer your question, though, it was tough, man. Just going through the injuries, like a couple other situations that I was in, it kind of threw me off. Like, my mental was thrown off a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was super thrown off, and obviously was still trying to stay strong in it. But mentally, I wasn't good. Like, I wasn't in the right space at all. So it was the injuries and literally me not being in a, because
Did the injuries get you out of your space of being that?
It was a little bit of both. Yes, that was a major reason, right? Because obviously you being hindered, you not being able out there to do what you love to do, right? So that's tough, right? And then not being able to, like, I had a hard time with so obviously, we know social media was getting popping right when I got into the NFL.
Yeah.
So the social media game changed everything. So I'm coming from, and not to make this an excuse because it's not, but so obviously I'm at Marshall. We got fans, but we ain't got
fanatic.
Yeah, just crazy, just OD fans like that, right? Like, so that was a crazy switch up to me going from Marshall to one of the biggest sports markets in the world, as far as going to Boston.
100%.
Night and day. Like, you know what I mean? I remember the day after I got drafted, I couldn't even get on social media or Instagram, like, or Twitter. Like, I literally could not get on it because it was just frozen. It was that many people just all of a sudden just boom, right? Which was crazy because most of it was good, right? But then when things start going a little left or whatever, right? I'm feeling tribe. I'm feeling like I need to respond to everybody, right? Like, 100%. You know what I mean? I'm getting on that type of time with people, right? So I think it was just that as far as kind of me being New England scapegoat when I was there a little bit, and going through some injuries, it threw me off. It threw me off my mental, man. So like, whenever I left there, I was trying to bounce back, but it was tough. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I ended up walking away from the game really mentally, because I had chances to go back. I could have went back and played. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like I left the league and then didn't have any calls. Like, you know what I mean? I had calls that I just was like, I'm good. I got to get my mental together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry.
Oh, well, yeah, because I'm curious, Bobby. Like you see these injuries coming. You know how you know his potential, but knowing too that if he ain't out on the field, there's a problem happening. You know, how were you and what were you thinking about those injuries, and how were you trying to manage through that?
That's one of those things. Like I said, since I could probably count on my hand, probably in one or two fingers, the injuries that he had that were, I would say, significant injuries from the time he was 4 or 5 years old playing sports, football, basketball, track. It wasn't any. Very, maybe a sprained ankle or something like that. It seemed like once he gets to the biggest stage, that's when all the injuries hit. And he's like, what is this?
What is happening?
What do we do? Did we do something that the stars ain't aligned for us or whatever? So that it was tough. It was tough because you see him, you like, I know he can do this stuff, and you've seen him have success. But at that level, 90% ain't good enough.
Yeah.
Unless you got one or two guys that 90% is good enough, but most of the time that guy right behind you is just right behind you. He waiting for you to go down.
Yeah.
And he just steps in, and like I said, sometimes you don't get a spot back.
Yeah.
So,
and I would say, we don't have much time, but just to validate your point, when we talk about social media, I was a freshman politician in the state legislature this year, and when you get online and you feel like you're working and doing everything, and then you just getting blasted. I mean, it does weigh a toll. People may discount it, but it does weigh on you. It's like, dang, man, they going crazy on me.
It's harder to people say don't get on and don't read it, don't respond. That's harder said than done.
Because that's our life now. That's your outside. That's you going outside by doing that. It's tough.
With my Facebook page now, Let's Talk, I had to get it, and I have a Carl Lee one also. I don't know if I seen, like, I knew people would say things about me, but once I got on social media, like, it was like, and especially coming out of the high school coaching thing.
Yeah, you got it, bro.
I was like, oh, I thought we was cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People just saying, like,
say whatever
they want to say.
Yeah.
And what's crazy to me is that freedom that you feel to say that, you don't necessarily even know the backdrop of 99% of it. All you know is this happened. And that's that 1%. He got hurt, they didn't win, and that's all that you know. That's the 1% that you know, and you gonna judge it all from there.
Yeah, that's what it was. A lot of it was up there, because even it was times where literally I was up there, I was a healthy scratch. So most of the games I really didn't play in New England, I was literally a healthy scratch. Like, if y'all don't know that, I literally just wasn't playing. So it was a lot of other stuff going on behind the scenes that was kind of like, what's going on, right? I don't know if y'all remember when an article came out saying I was getting into it with my coaches because that's why I wasn't playing. I don't know if y'all remember that. Like, so
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you can go look at it right now on Google. Right now, it's still out there. We had got beat by Kansas City one year, and got smashed. It was 42-14, and they benched Tom and put Jimmy Garoppolo in. So it was Jimmy's rookie year, my second year.
I remember that. Yeah,
we got smashed in Kansas City,
deal.
and They just didn't take me on the trip, Coach. I'm sitting.
You
there.
ain't going on the trip?
I'm not on the trip. I'm at home watching that game in the basement.
Oh,
listen. So I'm kind of confused. Like, all right, like, what's going on? You know what I mean? I don't got no answers or whatever. So we get beat, whatever. We come back, right, on all the news stations, on the ticker, on ESPN. It's the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady era is over. Like, they killing the Patriots. Like, New England sucks, like, killing us. And then literally the next day, man, the story switched to me. Like, oh, I'm not playing because I'm getting into it with my coaches and this, that, and the other. I'm like, dog, I don't even know where this is coming from. This came out of left field, like, right? Yeah. So it was a lot of stuff that was going on behind the scenes that kind of threw me. So I was like, I just had a lot of trust issues up there. I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't know really who had my back. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know where the story came from. You know
and there
what
was
I mean?
no free agency or any of that. Still that there was no free agency at that time? Like you couldn't just go to another team or
Nah. At one point in time up there, I wanted to get traded. I'm telling my agent and them to get me traded. You know what I mean? And Bill wouldn't trade me. And it's crazy because y'all know Bill will cut whoever, whenever, trade anybody, whenever, right? So it's like, you know, I'm taking all this heat because I'm not playing, right? Or you need to study your playbook more. You need to do this. I'm like, look, if y'all know, I know every single position up here, right? That's why I'm so flexible. They could put me wherever they want to on the field. It ain't that I don't know the playbook. It ain't no reason that y'all think it is. I don't even know the reason. I'm just kind of going through it. You know what I mean? So, but it was weird, man. It was we had some. It was weird. It was weird, man. I went through some situations where I just didn't know what was going on, right? Situations like that where I'm getting into it with my coaches, right? They all had my back and said, like, don't worry about it. I don't know where the story is coming from. But I'm like, then where is it coming from? You know what I mean? Like, this professional reporter ain't just going listen to Joe Schmo at the gas station and write the story up. You know what I'm saying?
You got to get it somewhere.
Somebody told you that, and somebody that she trusted told her that. You know what I mean? Told the woman that. So, no, it was different. It was. I just, you know, I had a very unique situation in the league. Let me just say that. You know what I mean? But
and now you are coaching Marshall, coaching receivers,
right?
And then you want to take this to you want to be like a head coach at the.
I don't know if I want to be a head coach, man. I see the responsibility of a head coach. I don't know if I want that. And like I said, I'm still green when it comes to the like just being in it. You know what I mean? But like my goal right now is obviously like I want to be the best receiver coach in the country. You know what I mean? Gotcha. So that's what the plan is right now. Obviously, as I feel like I'm in the game of coaching, I'll get to the point where I probably want to call it. Call it, you know what I mean, and really, really get into it. But right now, I am where my feet are. You know what I'm saying? So
I like that.
Just, I like that. I really am where my feet are, man. I'm trying to learn a lot because as much as I do know about receivers and really giving game to receivers, I understand like it's a lot more to me to learn as far as being a real solidified coach, schematic wise, X's and O's, and really scheming coming to coaching. So I know it's still a lot to learn, so I'm up for it, and I'm just trying to dive into it more and keep getting better at it.
And as we close up, one of the interesting things about what you're just saying there is that, you know, I think for a player, you know, I think it is a little bit more of a challenge to become a coach because it's a different. You approach it different, I think, than some guys who, you know, are just good, great, whatever coaches. It's a little bit different. I think players go at it a little bit different, I think. So I appreciate both of you.
Yes,
and
I appreciate you.
Great show. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with you next week.
The opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of WVRC Media, its management, employees, or sponsors. Follow us on Facebook at Let's Talk Carl Lee. Visit WCHSnetwork.com/Let's Talk for more.